What's up, everyone? Jake Reed here. It's been a minute, but I'm back. Lots been going on. I put out my own album, finally. It's called Read Between the Lines. R-E-E-D, like my name, Between the Lines. Pretty good, right? Anyway, been getting a lot of questions from everyone about different recording techniques and how to do things with the drums. So I figure why not kind of put the two together a little bit. The first track on the album is called Welcome Home. I'll play a little taste of it for you here. And so I came up with the idea, what if I mute my drums and make a play-along track of sorts? Except instead of just something to play along with, what if I invite everyone to record their own drums along with it? Replace me, right? Replace my drums on my own album. Getting replaced is kind of a bad thing. There's like a negative connotation to that in the studio world. You know, if you get replaced, it's like this whole thing, like, you're not good enough, or we didn't want your sound, or, you know, it can be hurtful, right? But in this scenario, I'm kind of bringing more of a positive light to it. The idea of getting replaced is more about, how would you approach playing on this song? What sound would you use? How would you mic the drums? What kind of groove would you play? There's so many factors that go into it. The whole point is just to have fun with it. So in the description down below, I'm going to put a link to my website where you can download Welcome Home, the Replace Me version. On that note, I figured there are a lot of drummers right now trying to just figure out how to record themselves at all at home. Why not do a video on minimal miking techniques? 2 microphones, 3 microphones, 4 mics. Also, we're going to be going over how I mix this stuff in Pro Tools. Compressors, EQs, reverbs, EQs, sound toys, EQs, limiters. So, without further ado, here are a few ways that I approach minimal miking techniques. But first, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. So, let's start with just 2 mics on the drum set. One in the kick drum, and one over my right shoulder. I think some people call this recorder man technique. I just call it the shoulder mic, just because it's easier for me to remember what that is. And you'll see that the mic is kind of over here, over my shoulder, and I'm just pointing it right down at the snare drum. It's great because with this way, you're really getting the snare drum and the rest of the kit. But then the cool thing is your body blocks the hi-hat mic a little bit. So that way it kind of eases up on how much hi-hat is getting into that mic, because let's face it, hi-hat gets in every single mic, and most of us play it too loud to begin with. So that's something we should all work on. Go ahead and turn off everything here real quick. Turn off all the plugins down here. That's just what the mic sounds like by itself in the room. Nothing. Just the mic. No plugins. Yeah, I didn't do much. Basically just did the all buttons in thing on the 1176 here. Hitting that stressor a little bit on the kick. A little bit of EQ on the kick just to get some of the weird frequencies out. Beef up that beater a little bit. Here's what the kick sounds like by itself. And in case you're wondering what it sounds like, no plugins. That's literally what the kick sounds like. Pretty cool, right? And then down here on the master bus, I basically have some EQs going here. I have this guy which is like rolling off the top to kind of give it that lo-fi. You can kind of do it however much you want, really. If you want to get super lo-fi, it's kind of fun. Cool. And then I'm using this radiator, which definitely gives it that old school. I just put it on full blast. But again, you can that's with nothing. I'm just gonna go up slowly here. Yeah. And of course our API bus compressor, love it. And then just a little bit of limiter just to make it more even sounding with the track, level wise. Cool. Alright, so that's that. So now we're on to the mono overhead. So that's what it sounds like by itself. Now we're getting a little juice going there. And let's turn on our bus stuff down here, drum bus. See, that radiator adds a lot. That's without it. And slowly. I just love it. Full blast like that. Yeah, that's fun. And then let's hear it in the track again. So definitely a different vibe than the shoulder mic only, right? So this is mono overhead, shoulder mic. Mono overhead, shoulder mic. Cool, let's move on. Okay, so here's the 635A, the EV635A. So that's what it sounds like, dry. Pretty vibey, if you ask me. Okay, now with everything else on. Without the radiator. Cool. So that's that. Next. the distressor and without our bus plugins. That's what it sounds like. Taking some chances. Love it. All right, let's hear it with 3 mics now. This is the Glenn Johns setup. Glenn Johns. Now, I know there's a lot out there on this technique. Glenn Johns. Look him up. Great engineer from back in the day. Recorded a lot of important records. Glenn Johns. I'm not saying this is like the only way to do it, or it's the end-all be-all way, or that what I'm doing is the right way of doing it. I just know that this is a way that I found that works for me. Most of the time when I do this Glenn Johns technique, I'm using my 2 Coles 4038s and then just 1 mic on the kick drum. It's really important to measure, from the middle of the snare to each microphone to make sure they're spaced apart evenly. You don't want any phasing issues or just, making the drums sound not so great. Cool, so that's the Glenn Johns technique. Glenn Johns. I really like doing it that way because you get a nice stereo image of the whole kit. You can pan them however you want. Sounds good. I don't think I panned them like 100 all the way to each side, but anyway. I had this going through my standard audio leveler 500 series. That's literally what it sounds like in my room. A little bit of reverb, room plugin, it's the Valhalla. Not a lot going on there. Sounds good in context, though. there you have it. Minimal miking. That's how I go about it. I'm not saying it's like the end-all be-all way, the quintessential way, the alpha and the omega, the definitive way. I'm just saying that's how I do it, and it works for me. Let me know how you do it. Leave a comment. If you're really feeling ambitious, why don't you replace me? Download link below. Let's see those replace me videos. Break.